Welcome everyone to Flipped Learning 3.0, the third session in a series about the new era of flipped learning. We want to thank you all for being with us today. I'm John Bergmann, your host, and I want to remind you that this is a 30-minute session, so just a quick briefing. Today's topic is 3 innovative ways flipped master teachers use their class time. Today we have 3 amazing master teachers, Flipped Learning Global Initiative master teachers. We have the amazing Ryan Hall from Kansas. We have, now I'm going to butcher her name, Sigrun S. from Iceland. There's no more difficult type of name to pronounce in the world, I think, than Icelandic. So she's joining us from Iceland. And we've got Dr. Sophia K. from Adelaide, Australia. And by the way, I think it's like 4:30 in the morning in Adelaide, crazy early. So we got people from all over the world who are going to be sharing with you some amazing things about flipped learning. So let me dive into the topic. I'm going to do a quick, brief introduction and get started here. And yeah. So a couple things as we get started, is that as we look at Flipped Learning 3.0, we discover there's 5 key tenets. Number 1, flipped learning is not static. Number 2, flipped learning is evolving because of 3 key factors. Number 3, flipped learning has emerged as a global movement. That's kind of obvious with this group, isn't it? It's a new awareness emerging, number 4. And number 5, it's created new opportunities. Today in this session, we're going to focus on number 2. Flipped learning is evolving because of 3 factors. Those 3 factors, if you recall, are research, classroom innovation, and technology. And of these 3, we're only going to focus on classroom innovation. So we're going to hear from each of these 3 master teachers as they share one crazy, awesome, amazing classroom innovation that they do in their class now that they have flipped their class. That's the focus of this session. And so let's turn it over to Mr. Amazing Ryan Hall, middle school social studies teacher in the heartland of the United States, Kansas, USA. So Ryan, take it away.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. It's kind of funny hearing that Kansas is that incredible of a place to look at when you have Iceland and Australia and these other places. Great, but hey, we'll take it. I remember the first time meeting with John and talking about some of the ideas of technology and how do we flip and where we've gone from there. And now we've gone all the way to now, like, instead of talking about how to actually make flip lessons, we're now talking about what do you do in your classroom, which ultimately is kind of the key to flip. Which shows that we're where we need to be. So my main thing that I'm here to contribute is just first-person narrative. One of the very first things that I end up doing in my classroom is, as I make a video, I think of what is the activity that I'm going to put with it. And so in this particular case, I teach Kansas history as well as world geography, so I'm a social studies teacher. Wikipedia has everything we need as far as history facts and those kind of things. So what I wanted to try to do is how to get the application aspects into it. So instead of just getting regurgitation of Wikipedia facts, where do we go from there? So I started toying with this. My wife's a language arts teacher, so we kind of put our heads together on this one. And we came up with this one, first-person writing. In front of you, there's a picture of the Trail of Tears. This is when the Cherokee tribe in early American history was marched out of the Georgia, Appalachia area. And pushed towards the Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma area to relocate. And so one of the things that I asked the kids to do was, using details from the march, act as if you are one of those people, write about it. And so then they started doing writing pieces, which writing is obviously a key key factor in where we are in education today. And so that first person writing, instead of getting regurgitation of facts, kids are now putting themselves into those situations. When they put themselves into those situations, you're getting more authentic learning going on. They're actually becoming that person. So that Trail of Tears writing was really important. We did that one, honestly, this year. We did it probably about 6 weeks ago. And really powerful stuff that the kids can bring forth to show that they're learning. The one we actually just did, you can go ahead and hit next, John. The one that we actually just did last, about 3 weeks ago, was Explorers of Kansas and the European Explorers of Kansas. Learning about Coronado and Dutenay and these Europeans that came into this Kansas area before Kansas became a part of the United States. It can be some dry stuff. It's Kansas history. I teach it. I know. I get it. And so I know the students are in that position as well. And so how can we make history become a little bit more alive? What you see before you is a kind of a portion of the slide that I put forth. So you see Coronado's picture off to the side. Kids could have acted like they were Coronado being interviewed by a National Geographic reporter. They had to write out scripts. As they write out these scripts, they talk about, you know, what they experienced using the facts from the flip video that we did. This is where we get to apply it, and it becomes more real. First person, again, they become that person, and now all of a sudden they get to take on the personification, that role of Coronado, or any of the French explorers, or any of the other ones that kind of came through Kansas. And as a total side note that I didn't even add here, we're actually doing another one in about 3 days, dealing with slavery and the issue that the United States had to deal with slavery in Kansas. So I'm a big fan of first-person writing, and so I really think you can kind of go in depth and get really good stuff out of the students based on, you know, their application into the subject. So I hope that helps.
Awesome. That is amazing, Ryan. And so what I'd like everybody else to do, I'd like you to get out your phones or your device, open up a new tab, and what I want you to do is I want you to answer, go to menti.com and use the code 517872 and tell us how could you use first-person writing in your context. So how could you do that? So yeah, just go to this menti.com. I'm pulling out my phone to do the same thing, and then we'll just see your responses. Anywhere in the world, just menti.com. We'll, by the way, use this also a little bit later, so for each of the things. Is it not working? Oh, I see something. Yeah, it's kind of a longer one. Very interesting to have the students write from the perspective of prey or predators. Oh, I got a science teacher out there. That's awesome. Write as a famous sociologist or as a teacher, researcher using one of the major sociological perspectives, okay, to help my students empathize. Ooh, awesome. Interview a psychologist, lab reports, conclusion results, observations, narrative about their journey toward high school graduation. Oh, I like that one. Write as a character from a novel. Well, you guys are awesome. A victim of natural disasters. Ooh, man. How Darwin saw animals on the Galapagos Islands and how he might have come up with natural selection. Oh, you guys are awesome. Oh, wow. Biographies and metacognitive reflective journals. Oh, Renaissance artists. Good. Sculpture. I wonder if we were an art teacher coming in there chatting. Okay. You guys are just rocking it here. Well, feel free. This poll stays open for quite some time, so I'm going to, I think, oh, I see another one coming in. Friedman's experience with economic, social, and political changes during Reconstruction. Ooh, I don't know who Friedman is, probably should, but I know what Reconstruction is. A participant in the Children's March during the Civil Rights Movement. Yeah. But also, I love that you're thinking out of the box, right? You're not just, it's not just, oh yeah, Ryan's a history teacher, so you can do history stuff, but we've got people thinking out of the box. That's pretty awesome. Interview of different pollinators. Ooh, science. Yeah. I teach French so kids could choose any famous French person, king, scientist. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, have students write about what a user of their design project would want in a solution design. Ooh, design principles. That's rocking with me too. All right, so we're going to move on. Keep tabbing those in. We can come back to this slide. Narrative about lab experience. Okay, so we're going to switch to Sigrun Safa Olfsdorter. I probably butchered your name. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. You're going to have to tell us how, Sigrun, how you pronounce your name because I know it's horrid. And I'm probably even saying Sigrun wrong. But Sigrun, take it away. Amazing teacher from Iceland.
Thank you. Thank you, John. My name is Sigrun Svava Ólafsdóttir, and I feel sorry for you, John, for having I'm sorry that I have so difficult name. Yes, but I'm teaching in Iceland in a school named Keilir, and I'm working with adults, teaching them how to speak and write Danish, the language. And adults in Iceland, they don't want to learn Danish for the first. So it's a difficult topic for me to do. But I'm trying to do my best, and I love flip learning. I've been using it for 5 years now, still going strong, always trying something new. You can actually switch again, thank you. Yeah, what I try to do is to let them work in their own speed in my classroom, so I have everything planned out and they are just working and I'm helping. I'm like a cheerleader on the sideline. You can see here on the pictures difference from before flipped and after flipping. So this is really how it looks like. And my motto or guideline through all of this has been John Bergmann's line, what is the best use of your face-to-face class time? And I believe that everyone can use that in some way or another. But what I want to tell you about now is maybe my way of giving them live feedback, because when you're learning a language, it's important to tell you if it's correct or not, what you're doing, without handing in a sheet of paper with red signs all over, which nobody understands, in my opinion. And so I use my iPad and I use my app. I prefer Education, but there are lots of apps who can do this. And of course, we use learning management system like Moodle, and that's what we are using. So they hand in a written project. I open my iPad to make a screenshot, and I may take the screenshot into my app where I start talking and recording what I'm saying, and I start writing on my screen so I can correct them. And in that way, I can talk to the students, and I can tell the students how they are doing good, how they are doing better than last time, and how they can improve. And I also can tell them all kinds of things I never did before. For example, that this word is correct, but it would be better to use another word, or this is really a common file, or something like that. And then in this app, it's really easy just to send the recording direct to the student in an email. If you want to show them the short demo, John, could you do that?
Yep, hold on. Give me switch over the screen a little bit. And where did it go?
Should I mute myself just one?
No, give me a second. Sorry, folks. I think we lost the file. I will get it, though, in just a second. I know exactly where it is. And yes, so I'm going to push play so everybody will mute ourselves so you can listen to it. So here's a similar one.
Hi, Sigrun. You're doing a great project here. You need to add one P here and a W here, and you have to decide if it's a dog or dogs. So I assume maybe you got a dog. If you're living in a building, that's maybe a word you found in the dictionary, but I would recommend that you use the word house instead of. And Google Translate has maybe been teasing you here. It's just ice if you're skating, not ice cream.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm going to put the other thing back up here in a minute. Here, Sigrid.
Thank you. And maybe you just can put my last slide up, because I just want to tell you how it's working for us. Like for my students, they've been very happy. I guess you can read this. I don't want to read it out loud to you, but what's happening is that I'm just talking to them. I'm maybe laughing and not at them, but with them, like I always tell them. And it's more rememberable for them to see it done like this. And they are often writing me email back, say, thank you, I'm sorry, this was really a funny mistake, or I will never do that again. As my time finished, do you think, John?
Yeah. So, hey, thanks, Sigrun. Great things. Let's see how teachers think they can use live feedback in their classroom. So if you would pull out the Mentimeter.com thing. All right. So how would you use a video feedback in your context? How could you use a similar way for video feedback?
John, just real quick, this is Ryan again.
Yeah.
There were two questions that were being asked for Sigrun. What do you provide via video prior to the class? And I believe that's what the video was. But then the other question was, is this a face-to-face or an online class for Sigrun?
This is a face-to-face class or online. I teach both. So of course, if it's an online class, it's working even more better.
Oh yeah. That's good, yeah, to ask the questions in the middle. Great thought while we're having people provide feedback on annotated diagrams for lab reports. I got a science teacher there, awesome. Solving errors in math, oh yeah. I'm going to put words in Sigrun's mouth, but my guess is she had to grade the papers anyways. All she has to do is push the record button. Right? She was going to grade them anyway, so it's not like she's adding time to her life. She's just replacing time.
No, and I want to add, since you're giving me opportunity to, it's a lot more fun to do it like this than using, how do you say it, track changes in Word, for example,
Yeah, these are great. Just formative assessment. Could pull students, graduation, adult, give verbal feedback. Oh, awesome thoughts, wow. Online quizzes, if I notice patterns, I can recommend portions to revise. Written answers in French could be corrected, but students who also get a second chance to hear the answers in French. Ooh, yeah, it's a pronunciation thing, right? Yeah. Correcting and offering feedback on group presentations. You teach EFL, okay, great. Students using video feedback reflect on our responses too. Oh yeah, flip it around, have the kiddos do it. Ooh, awesome, whoever said that, you are a rock star. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Okay, we want to make sure we have time for everybody's Q&A, so we now are going to turn our attention to the down under, Adelaide, Australia, way down under, and we're going to meet the amazing Sophie Karen Colas. Butchering everyone's name. Sophie,
You're
welcome.
doing well. Hi, everyone. I'm going to just share with you one of my approaches to flipped classroom where I use peer instruction for in-class activities. So, I actually teach at the University of Adelaide, and this particular class, when we look at the nerve tissue, was actually one of the most difficult topics to teach in the past until I started flipping, and now it's actually become the easiest of all the topics I teach. And one of the reasons is I have really learned how to let go in the class and really hand over the learning to the students. And that was one of the most difficult things to do first up. So to prepare them, I just put together a very simple PowerPoint presentation with about 3 slides of videos that are about 2 minutes each, covering just the key concepts of a neuron. And then the last video, what the students have to do is they watch me draw a draw a neuron on the whiteboard. And their main task, apart from answering a few short multiple choice questions, is to actually draw their own interpretation of a neuron or of a cell in the nervous system. So if you could go to the next slide, John. When they come to class, we basically just go through their responses to the very short MCQ or multiple choice questions. And you can see some of those where we've had, you know, quite a variety of answers. I use that as a point of discussion where students debate and work out, you know, the correct answer. So I really hand that over to them as well. And once we've clarified any of those areas that they misunderstood, we then move on to the next activity. If you could show us the next slide there, John, where they have to bring in their diagrams and share it with one another. So the peer instruction starts here. And the reason we've got accountability there is I make sure that whatever the students do pre-class, that we use it as the basis for the in-class activities. So what they do here, and you can see there's a range of different diagrams from really detailed, very artistic to quite simple ones. So the first part, we get them to look at each other's diagrams and then work out, I guess, the different parts of each diagram, and then the main activity, if you go to the next one, and this is where the fun part starts, they have to construct their own neuron using Play-Doh and craft. And the first time I used that, I was a little bit nervous because these are university students with diverse backgrounds. So we have some mature age students in there, and I wasn't sure how they would take to the Play-Doh and the craft. But as it turns out, it was the most amazing experience. And if you have a look closely, they've actually gone beyond any of my expectations. So not only have they constructed a neuron, but they've constructed things like the supporting cells around the neuron, the different types of neurotransmitters that are coming off of each neuron, and that's material I hadn't even covered yet. And then as the final part of this peer instruction, if we go to the next one, John, I actually then got each group to describe their construction to the remainder of the class. So we almost walked around each group, and each group described what they actually constructed, and I videoed their descriptions, and then I uploaded that on our learning management system so they have that for revision. But what actually amazed me is that each group focused on something new and something different. So by the time we finished going around the class, they basically had completed the whole lecture. And what used to take me, 1 or 2 hours to try and, I guess, lecture, now basically all I took was 10 minutes just to clarify some points at the end. And if you look at the actual diagram on the left-hand side, these students have gone beyond any of my expectations. And they've started to actually draw in things like an electrical, like the action potential that's around those neurons. So they've started to even think about the chemical and the electrical transmission between, nerve cell to nerve cell. And that actually just blows me away each time. And they learn it much better from each other than having me stand out the front and instruct them. So that's how I use the group learning space at class time now.
Wow, that is awesome. And as a science teacher, Sophie, that is awesome and cool. Action potentials, the whole deal that they're going that further deeper, that is amazing. Well, same question. How could you use peer instruction in your context? So if you could go back to Mr. Minty and see what you guys say. I love your responses.
It is difficult giving all the power to the students, I must admit. It's not something, I think, when you're really used to being in control of the learning, handing it over to the students is actually quite a challenge to begin with. It's a real cultural change.
All right, coming in, here are the results. Getting students to diagram sentences in my grammar portion. Peer instruction as a review of previously taught concepts. Oh, you already do it. Oh, awesome. First person. Green guy. Students create videos in class. Whole class can view those vids. Okay. Diagrams of landforms. All right. Quadrilateral hierarchy of relationships. Wow. I'm not sure even know what that means. I know what a quadrilateral is and a hierarchy, but that's pretty awesome. Okay, students compare different approaches to the same problem, analyze effectiveness, commenting on their peers' work, research and teach each other grammar points to create. Oh, we got grammar a couple of times. Yeah. Create verb conjugation chart, grammar. Oh, grammar is a theme. Brain game about neuroscience. Oh, we got some science teachers. They must have really related to this example. I have students take quizzes individually and take again small groups. Students sharing key ideas from textbook and having them create a Google Doc. Ooh, man, you are using tech, person. She support L2 integration skills at time on task. I have no idea what L2 integrated skills are, but I'm sure they're awesome. Oh, man, you guys are just totally engaged. This is awesome. All right. Okay, well, I am going, go ahead. Someone can say something? Adjust chemistry reactions. Oh, I'm a chemistry guy. Yeah. Okay. Oh, here comes some more. Students help each other when I am not available. Oh, yeah. What you find happening in peer instruction is a lot of peer help, right? That's kind of part of the game, right? Oh, programmers. Oh, we got a computer first teacher here. Oh, yeah. Work through the flip training together and discuss. Well, what we want to do now is we want to turn it over to you and have you ask some questions. Now, Ryan has been closely monitoring the questions as they've been coming in. So remember, if you want to ask a question, go to the Q&A button in the upper right-hand corner. And if you would go there and type in your questions, make sure you send it to all panelists, and that would make it even better.
Okay, John, this is Ryan again. There's one more question. I think this was following Sigrun's presentation on her talking about, is this a face-to-face, and she said that it was online and face-to-face. She used them both. Robbie asked, why use this in a face-to-face class when she could talk directly to the students? I'll let her answer that, and then I can even respond to that one as well. But Sigrun, if you would like to.
Yes, I can. What I can say about that is, this is maybe a bigger project. The students are handing in anyway, so instead of me correcting like I did before on track changes in Word or with a red pen on a paper, I do it like this. So it's not really the small projects like my demo is. It's not a project like this, but it would be a bigger project. And also, if I were not teaching grown-ups, if I were teaching children, like my quote said, my student, she said she would love it if her children's teachers would do that, so she, as a parent, could watch the feedback with the child, if you know what I mean. You can comment as well, Ryan.
Honestly, you kind of nailed it on the head. I think it depends on your activity and what you're trying to get. If I have a classroom, I don't have as many as the pictures that you showed, but if my largest has been 30, but if I get into the mid-20s, which is usually what my classroom size is, it might alter. So that individual video might actually work directly for whatever we were doing in that class time, which is going to be actually another question on the Q&A. It was asked towards me, do I have a problem with middle school students not having access to internet, problems at home, which is obviously probably one of the biggest issues that we come across in flipped learning, or questions, I should say. For me, I do a lot of in-flip, so they do a lot of their flip stuff in the classroom, and it's a work at your own pace deal. As I've adopted the flip mastery method, and so a lot of those things, I want them to be working on kind of individualized kind of things, and then we come together for those activities that I was mentioning in the class. So using that methodology, using that principle, I kind of get away from kids not having connectivity issues as much. We still have it. My school is 50% free and reduced lunch, which means in the States, it means that we have probably about half of our school that is economically disadvantaged. So that is an issue. But at the same time, if we give them opportunities and we control what we can control, and that's their time in our class, we can do some pretty cool things. And they're going back again to what Sigrun was just said. Those class times and what activity we were doing in the class, I mold those. So there are times where those kids doing the flip video in the class is still appropriate based on whatever activity we were doing. So I kind of tried to kill two birds with one stone there. Hopefully that worked all right for everybody.
That's a great response, Ryan. What are some of the other questions? The way I'm recording, it's hard for me to actually see the questions. So if somebody else could chime in on the questions.
Robbie actually mentioned his question is, so they work on their assignment in class, but what about learning to speak? And I believe that's directed probably towards Sigrun.
Yeah, the language class, yeah. Yes. Sigrun?
Yes, since I have them very, very short time, I don't have that much time to let them train how to speak Danish. But they, once in a while, hand in to me a video where they also talk, practice the language, and also they sometimes do the trainings in the class, of course, now since we have more time in class. So that's not a problem.
Awesome, awesome. Any other questions from out in the world there? I can't see them, so if somebody could moderate the questions.
Not a problem. I'm going to keep going on. Suzanne says, does anyone have the issue that students think that a flipped classroom is self-teaching as opposed to self-paced? So I'll answer, but I'll wait for somebody else to talk.
So, Sophie, have you got an answer to that?
Thanks. For us, we've learned, so initially they did, but we actually spend a whole session on inducting students on what flipped learning actually is about. And we demonstrate flipped learning in class. And we show them the importance of coming to class prepared, because I have to engage in that sort of group learning space with the learning activities that we've actually designed for them. So that's the way we get around it. We also have students that have been through the flipped classroom come in and do testimonials and run that induction workshop with us. That's the way we actually have overcome that issue, because I do think if it's not a well-designed flipped classroom, students can think, well, I'm paying, for my education, and that I don't have, the teacher doesn't have any responsibility for me. So I think it is a real mindset for the, a change in their mindset as well, and that's only achieved through some really good introduction and induction to flipped learning.
That's great thoughts. Well, we are pressing up against our time, so I know there's one other question, and I've got that. Someone texted it to me. So let me kind of close. First of all, I want to just thank the amazing Ryan, the amazing Sophie, and the amazing Sigrun for the amazing sharing that you guys are doing.
Thank you, John.
So, clap.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. So in the coming weeks, we're going to bring you flipped innovators from around the world to share experiences on Flipped Learning 3.0. One question that people are asking is, how do I learn more about getting flipped certified and as a master teacher? We encourage you to go to FL Global, that's Flipped Learning, flglobal.org/webinars. That's what we're on right now, to mark your calendars. But also, if you want to get certified, if you can go to flglobal.org/get-certified, you can learn more, and that's the first step to becoming a flipped master teacher. Finally, you can continue this discussion at flglobal.org/community. That's a community page, about 28,000 people there to have a conversation about how you can go deeper. Thank you all for taking the time to be with us today. More importantly, thanks for all your contributions to Flipped Learning. We look forward to connecting with you again. Bye.
Thank you, John. Bye.
Bye.